Hello, I'm Mr. Tim Knable. I teach the electrical technology program here at the Southern Indiana Career Technical Center. It's a 2-year program. The first year we cover a lot of basics as far as electricity goes, with right down to the electron. We move into different forms of theory. We talk about Ohm's law. We go into all the equations. So it is helpful to have a decent background with mathematics to have some pretty decent grades there. As we move along through the first year, we work through a program called Interim Credentials. And you can find a link to that, to a commercial that we filmed on that program on our website, and it explains what all it entails. But what it does is whenever you take that in here and you graduate, it'll help get you right into the second year of the electrical apprenticeship program with the IBEW. So that's a very nice thing to have. And even if not that, it's a great resume builder, as you know. So as we move through the first year, we work on wiring labs out here in the shop, as I'll show you here in a minute. Then we get into conduit and different things. And then at the end of this little tour here, I'll show you the motor control lab, which is what you do in your second year. So we'll move on into the wiring lab now. Put on my mask here. So out here, what we have, these are stations built for each student to have their own wiring lab to work in. And every day they come in here and they work through different labs in their workbook here. And they decide what needs to go where. And whenever it's all finished, I come around and I check off a check sheet for them. Everybody works at their own pace. So it's a pretty well self-guided program, and I'm here to assist in whatever questions they may have. Let's move along here. So we have 24 stations, like I said, one for each. This is Mr. Elpers here. He's in my morning class. What are you working on here?
So right now I've just finished up with one of my residential trainer labs. It's a 2 4-way switching systems. So 4-way switch here, 3-way switch here. Each switch that you turn changes the state of the light. And then over here I've got a GFCI receptacle that if the current changes at any point will switch it off, and it basically gives a more safety in a wet environment. And then up here I just got a simple duplex receptacle on a 120 volt circuit. There we go. Yeah, a regular 120 volt circuit for the duplex receptacle that just plug all your appliances into, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, because as we go along, we learn how to use different kinds of meters and how to use the different readings on those meters. A lot of that blends in with the book work. We do a lot of book work as well as lab work in here. The electrical trade requires both, a good balance of both, so we do balance that out. So what's been your favorite part of the class so far?
Pretty much everything. It's really hard to say what everything is because it's all so good, but it also makes it so easy because Mr. Knable has experience in the trades, and it really helps him. Well, it helps us to be able to learn that when he can just jump right in and offer assistance because he knows all that.
Cool.
And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much. All right, well, move down here. Another student working on his lab. This is Mr. Zeller here. What are you working on?
I just got done doing my Romex lab.
Oh, okay.
So it's a 2-way switch, or 3-way switch, my bad.
Yeah.
That goes up to the light, so either light can turn it on and off.
Gotcha. So yeah, we've got a 3-way switch or a 3-way switch circuit here on a can light. So everybody gets a chance to practice their skills with not only wiring within a trainer, but they also get to practice Romex running, box mounting, can light mounting. And then the reason this is important for us is second semester of our first year, we're going to go out and help with a Habitat for Humanity build and do all the wiring for it. So we get a little bit of practice in here before we head out there. We have yet to been out there yet this year, but we will be hopefully within a month or so. So what's been your favorite part of the class so far?
It's hard to say, but my favorite part is probably the fact you can work at your own pace. Like you don't have to, you need to get there, but it doesn't matter how quick you go, and you can always ask Mr. Knable for help. He's done it all, so he can help with whatever.
Yep, I always tell them speed comes later. So Absolutely. Cool. Well, we're gonna move into the last room here. So currently this is our wiring lab. Right over here is our current motor control center. We're using this right now as needed as we go, but we're actually upgrading this whole setup to what we have here in the next room. So we're going with the same idea to give every student their own station so they can work at their own pace as well on this. But this is a motor control lab. And motor controls, if you don't know, it deals with how to start, stop, basically how to control a motor. And that goes all the way through the industrial sector of the workplace, conveyor belts, mixed tanks, pumps, water pumps, and we have a lot of different scenarios that can be wired up in all these labs. So we've got 4 reverse motor starters, we've got overloads, handoff auto operations, timers. And as we move along, not only will we learn the basics of motor controls, but we'll also take that into PLCs, which is a programmable logic controller. It's the computer version of motor controls. So instead of having wiring going here and here and here and here, we bring it all to a PLC, we get on a computer, and we tell it what we want it to do. Set this timer for that. If this button gets pushed, I'd like it to do that, that kind of thing. So it's learning some basic automation to help students get into the workplace. With these classes, we help prepare students to go into apprenticeships. Also, they can go right into college, or they can even go right into a job after this. I've got some students that started working with residential electricians in their internships, the second part of their second year, second semester, and they're still with them. So they just kind of move right along. I've got others that have worked in their internships and then they join an apprenticeship after that. So there's many different options. And just like all the other classes here, we do offer the chance to go out on an internship that second semester of senior year. So like I said, I've got a lot of students that go work for companies like Zeller Electric, Premier Electric, many different kinds, even working in factories. So whether it's like a pre-maintenance type of job, they can get into those. So there's many options there with the electrical sector. As far as dual credits go, we offer 2 different classes of dual credits at Ivy Tech. Your first year, you're going to get basic electricity. Second year in here, you're going to get a motor control dual credit. So you have those 2 classes, so it adds up to 6 total credit hours, 3 for each. And then as far as certification goes, we do offer the interim credentials program I mentioned earlier for the IBEW's apprenticeship. And then also I'm looking to offer a newer NCCER certification for next year for the first year class. And that's a nationwide recognized certification. And we start off in basic construction information and we move right on through the electrical level 1 certification. So we learn everything from how to hammer a nail to how to hook up light switches. So it's a very, very good program for that. So that pretty much concludes the electrical technology class here at SICTC. Thank you.